Listen, we get it. We've both been at that point where you're ignoring your bank account and kind of flinching with every transaction, hoping it goes through because you just don't know how much is in that account.
Today, we're helping you answer the question, where did all my money go?
Whether you want to pay down debt, plan a big trip, or maybe just feel more in control of your money, the first step is understanding where your money's going. I'm Mal.
And I'm Josh.
And together we're the Inbetweeners, your source of inspiration and education for those that like to live in the middle lane.
It's our mission to give you the tools you need to navigate your money.
We first became finance nerds when we started our business together in university as a couple of kids and a newly dating couple back in 2015.
Since then, we paid off our student loans, invested in real estate, and have built 2 other successful businesses.
Now here with CBC, we're gonna show you the 4 steps we use to answer the question, where did all my money go, and help get you headed on the right track.
I remember when I was still working part-time, I always felt like I was making more money, but somehow ended up in the same spot. Today, let's look into how we can be proactive with our money so that we can pay down debt, save, and invest more. Or even just have a little bit more spending cash, whatever your goal may be.
First up, your take-home income. Now, the first part of understanding where your money is going is actually knowing how much money is coming in. If I asked you how much money you made, would you tell me your annual salary or maybe your hourly wage? Most people know they don't take home their full salary because of taxes, but maybe don't actually know what that take-home number is. First, if that's you, don't feel bad. But here's an example. If you live in Ontario and make a salary of $75,000, your take-home income is $56,000. If you want a rough idea of yours, most people pay around 20 to 30% of tax on their salary, which means you take home 70 to 80% of your listed salary. Now to find your take-home number, you can start by looking at your last pay stub for a year-to-date net pay. That's gonna give you your after-tax number. If you see earnings or gross, that's your before-tax number. Now, if your pay stub doesn't have that number, no worries. You can either add up your monthly pays or you can use an online calculator by searching Canadian Income Tax Calculator. So let's say you make the average Canadian salary of $68,000. You input that number and your province, and it's gonna let you know your take-home income. It'll remove things like income tax, CPP, and EI contributions. But do keep in mind, your employer may have additional deductions on your pay stub, like union fees, for example. Now in this example, your take-home salary, if you live in Ontario, would end up being $51,000. So go ahead and try that for yourself. I want you to write that number down. And if you know it's gonna change soon because you're taking on additional work, or maybe you have a raise coming, go ahead and write that number down too.
The second step is getting clear on your monthly expenses. Now that we know what your actual take-home income is, now you have to figure out where you're actually spending your money.
Now, this is the point where a lot of financial advice tells you to look at where you're overspending on things you don't need. But this kind of advice can make you feel bad about something that may be a priority to you and not others. If you need to spend $200 a month to maintain your natural hair, or maybe you want to budget regularly for new clothes for your new job, don't shame yourself for it. Instead, let's just get familiar with those costs so we can make a game plan.
Actually knowing where you spend your money gives you back that control of your money and away from this feeling of having no idea what's happening in your bank account. There are 2 types of expenses in life. The ones where you have to pay no matter what, and the ones that seem to come out of nowhere. We're gonna call these your fixed expenses and your extra spending. Your fixed expenses is the same each month. This can include your rent and mortgage payments, your car payments, cell phone bill, internet, minimum debt payments like student loans, and even Netflix. We like to include groceries and utilities here. Even though they vary month to month, you generally have a good idea of what you're gonna spend. You can go ahead and ballpark your groceries, and you can take a look at your last utility bill to give you an idea of what you can forecast in the future.
Now there are 2 ways to figure out your fixed expenses. First, just sit down and think about any and all bills you know that come out monthly. Then, to make sure you're accurate, you can reference your bank account or your credit card statements to see how much those bills actually are and if you're missing any. If you're really not sure, what you can do instead is print out your last credit card statement and start by highlighting anything you know is a recurring cost and total those up.
Next, you need to take a peek at your extra spending. Now we're getting into the biggest "where did all my money go" category, your extra spending. This is your online shopping, your coffee shops, and your excursions. If you've already been using an app for your spending, you may already have your spending categorized for you. If not, it's time to open up those bank statements and take a peek. Pull up your last bank statement and take a look at what's on it. If you have multiple credit and debit cards, make sure to look at all of them. If you've already printed out your statements and highlighted your set expenses, anything that's left over is your extra spending. It's up to you if you want to categorize things into shopping, entertainment, and/or gifts, or if you just want to focus on the overall total number. This extra spending is where you have the most control. This is where you can cut things down to speed up the process of paying down debt, saving for that vacation, or even just stashing away cash for a rainy day.
The last step to understanding where your money goes and creating a stronger relationship with your money is reassessing your goals and creating goals that you actually care about. Now, at this point, you know how much money is coming in and how much money you're spending. Now, arguably the most important part is making money goals that actually get you excited. So now is the time to ask yourself, what's really important to me? What gets me excited when I think about putting my money somewhere? Now for us, some of our starter goals were saving up for a weekend adventure, putting an extra $100 towards Josh's student loans, building out an emergency fund for unexpected costs, and contributing $50 a month into our TFSA. Actually having goals that you care about are what's gonna make the biggest difference in you feeling good about money and paying more attention to where your money's going.
If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the CBC Life YouTube channel and comment below what your goals are. We're curious.